Hi guys, welcome back to Conscious Creating with Heather Hope. I think that's what it's called still. It's been a while, guys. I am so sorry. I just completely stopped. Okay, so I am really excited about this topic. I just decided to jump on here like 3 minutes ago and talk about this because, when you have a thought or when you have a question or you are thinking about something, that you will get the answer, right? The answer will just pop out of literally nowhere or nothing. So for the longest time, I have, well, let me talk about, oh gosh, this is just going to be, if you're new here, welcome. I do have something really cool for you guys coming up very, very quickly or very soon. It's called Create Your Dream Life in 5 days. And it's coming very soon, except that I've created 5 days and I'm like, there's still more that I need to talk about. So now I might rename it and add another day, kind of like the 6 days of creation. And then Jesus took the last day off, right? So forgive me. So it kind of resembles that a little bit. It doesn't, but it sounds like it. I'm a manifestation coach or mindset life coach, manifestation coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. That's what I do. That's who I am. Okay, so I want to talk about instant manifestation. Let me go back a couple of years ago, probably. I came across this one Abraham Hicks recording, and you know that I've been into Abraham Hicks and I'm into Neville Goddard. It's all the same. It's just different wording. I don't care what anyone else says. It's all the same. The Bible, it's all the same. Everyone is talking about the same thing. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I ran across this one Abraham clip that talked about the time buffer of time, right? That we believe that there's this buffer of time of, between our desire and the actual 3D physical manifestation. And so they talked about a tomato plant. And Abraham said, well, the only reason why it takes, I'm just going to use 21 days for a tomato plant to blossom or whatever, or start to grow, or corn. It might have been corn. It was tomatoes, corn. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the only reason why it takes a certain amount of time to grow, say, an ear of corn is because that's what we believe it to be. We don't believe that we can plant a seed and it will instantly grow. We just don't believe that. Our human mind is like, no, that can't happen. So we believe in time frames. We believe in the illusion of time, right? We believe in time. And we need to stop doing that because it's limiting us incredibly. So, I really like that clip. I've heard another one of our disbelief of not doing anything and still having our manifestations come to us. Like literally not doing it. Most of the law of attraction people out there, or people who discredit law of attraction, they claim that we think that we don't have to do anything. Well, anyway, that we have to take action, or, they'll say, a lot of them will say that we have to take action. And it's so little action most of the time that is actually needed. Very, very, very little. And when it is, it's literal effortless. It's like you just got up and went here because you felt inspired, and boom, there's your manifestation. You're like, I didn't do anything. Precisely. You actually did get in the car and go somewhere, but you had that inspiration to go do that. So that's where it seems like it's effortless, and it's and it also seems like there's action needed, but it wasn't. It was just a thing. So I just listened to another one that a channel just posted today, and it was about, I posted it in our group. If you go into my group is called Entrepreneurs Manifesting It All. And I posted it in there. It's like at the 8-minute mark, you can start listening to how Esther still doesn't believe in instant manifestation. She has yet to believe. That's what they said. Esther has yet to believe in instant manifestation. She still believes in a buffer of time. So if you listen to that, you're like, oh, so she has yet to believe that there's instant manifestation, meaning that there is. It's just her belief system isn't on board. Shocking to me. If I had been channeling Abraham for 40 years, you better believe I would be walking on water probably 35 years ago. You know what I mean? Because I've only been studying Abraham for almost 4 years, and I've gotten pretty far, but I got pretty far more recently because I've switched a little bit more over to Neville and the Bible and quantum physics, and just really diving in all of it and deciphering what all of it is, and really figuring out. And then I go back to Abraham and I'm like, that's what they've been talking about this whole time, but it was like more watered down in my opinion. So anyway, so I have been hearing this for a while. And so there's this other person that I follow on YouTube, and his video today is, what do you do during the time while you're waiting for your manifestation? I have yet to click on it because I keep saying, no, there is no time. There shouldn't be any time lapse. There shouldn't be any waiting. There certainly should never be waiting for years for anything. It's just, we're not focused enough in our desires. So I didn't want to click on it because I do know that he believes in like things becoming, unseen to be seen, like out of thin air manifestation. So I know that he believes in all that stuff, but I think he was just going through a Neville chapter. So I believe in instant manifestation. I believe in things appearing. I believe in the unseen becoming seen. I believe in, what we call, shifting realities, shifting into another reality, and that we do that all day long. Like, I really love listening to Bashar about that we're shifting constantly, and we're shifting. And I believe that it's very easy to shift realities, like insanely easy, a lot easier than most people ever believe that it could be. And it just involves us to focus. So I use affirmations. So I go to the end, right? Neville stuff. I go to the end and I have affirmations as if it's already done. It's already a thing. It's already my reality. And I will affirm. And I will affirm. And I will affirm. A lot of times I do like multiple affirmations, like multiply, saying them multiple times. And it's shifting into that reality. And the more I think about it. So what I do, if I'm creating a new reality, like something that's kind of important to me, I will think or say those affirmations. It's probably one or two, and that it's already done, that sort of thing. And what I will do in my mind, I will not go back in my memory about it. I will use my mental strength to not think about the previous reality, because every time you think about the previous reality, you're bringing it right. You're shifting right back into that reality. So the more that you shift into the reality that you are creating, that you want, that you desire, it's already been created. You're not creating it. It's already been created. You're already living that in another timeline, in another reality. So you're just shifting into that reality, because if you had the thought, you're already living it in another reality. So I choose that reality, and I have a couple affirmations, declaring that is it, and then I will mentally all day long, every single day, mentally keep my thoughts on the new reality. I will not go. It's like there's a bookmark. There's like a bookend that is like right now, or just right before, right after now, like, because right now is old already, and the future, or what we think is the future, or the reality that we're creating. So that's like where my bookend is. There is nothing in the past. It's like non-existent anymore in my memory. This is the work. This is why people get so stuck with law of attraction forever, because they're not really digging into all this stuff of like, no, this is literally, like Abraham talks about it. It just seems so trite. It seems so like it's not enough, That's why you have to explore a few other teachers to get different terminology, different meanings, different, like, no, because they say, Abraham does say all the time, focus on the story that you are creating. Focus on the story that you want. They literally mean focus on it and do not ever, ever, ever think again of the story that you do not want. Don't ever. Because once you do, you're shifting right back into that reality. So we're shifting realities constantly. I think Bashar says like billions of times a second or some crazy number. So you have to think from the end. You have to focus your mind there constantly, like as much as you possibly can. And it takes practice, obviously. And you cannot repeat the story. You cannot repeat the old story, because every single time you repeat the old story, you're slipping right back into that reality and you're not making any movement. You're going back. You're going back in time, if there was time. So instant manifestation. So what I do, I've been writing about it every so often, about that I believe the unseen can be seen. I believe, like, I'm changing my beliefs about like instant manifestation. I'm changing my beliefs in that we're shifting all the time, and that sometimes you can't find something. You look and look and look and look and look because you've lost it, right? And the reality is that you've lost it. And then as soon as you let it go, it reappears. And I've did this. And you hear these stories from people and you're like, yeah, you just didn't look hard enough, right? Skeptics, right? I get a little skeptical. I've always been a skeptic. I'm much less now. So, you kind of wonder, did they really look? I always have that wonder of like, did they really look in that one spot that they said that they looked seven times? Did they look hard enough? So I did it a couple times. I lost something. I'll tell you one thing I wear fake eyelashes, right? And I had a couple on my nightstand that I took off because they were coming off. And the next day or 2 days later or something, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go grab my eyelashes. I'm going to use them. And when I went and looked, they were not there. I had the flashlight on because they're black. My nightstand's black. The room is dark. So, but I looked and looked and looked and I'm like, what the hell? Cause how could they move? Like they're kind of tacky, sticky, and they probably will stick to the surface. And I don't have like a cat that comes around and steals things. I don't have anything that would move it. I have a fan, but it's never facing on my nightstand. I'm like, what the hell? So I looked and looked and looked, nowhere. So I'm like, well, that sucks. So I let it go. And then the next day or that night or at some point, I glanced over and they were sitting right there. And I'm like, what the hell? It was one of those moments of like, where was it? It wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was there and then it wasn't there and now it's there again. It's one of those things. So that is shifting a reality. It's shifting a reality that, the funny thing is that I didn't think that they were lost. I knew where they were. But for some reason, so I think right before that, I kept, affirming that, I wanted to see more weird things or the unseen to be seen. And how about the seen to be unseen, apparently, right? So they weren't lost. Then they became lost. And I'm like, what the hell? And then they became found again. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I have read a lot of stories of people having the weirdest events happen and they cannot explain them. So that's what it was. So anyway, so let's start working on getting rid of the belief that that time, that first of all, that time exists. It doesn't. Time is an illusion, right? But secondly, that it's all here now. It's all here now. Like everything that you want is here now. And third, that you are God of your reality. And since you are God, you can command things to happen. So get into your God state and command the things that you want in your life to happen. And when you get into this knowing, this is in the day one of our create your dream life. It's not even creating your dream life. It's choosing your dream life. You're choosing it. You're not creating it because it's already been created. But I don't know if I could say choose your dream life. Well, maybe I could. But it's all about making a decision on what you want, because once you make a decision, you get very clear on what you want. You focus on that end result with, your God state of knowing, your self-concept, your divine self-concept. And very soon you will know your power. When you know your power as God of your reality, that's when everything starts happening for you. So that's day one of our it's an e-course. It's a free e-course that I'm putting together right now. So yeah. So I love when I hear more, especially from Abraham, about, or anyone, doesn't really matter, about instant manifestation. And so I do follow Elmer Locker. That's who I was talking about earlier, about his video. Now there's a video that I listened to or watched a few weeks ago about, because he believes this too, of instant manifestation. He believes in things coming out of nowhere, instant, like manifestations out of thin air, like millions of dollars coming out of your ceiling sort of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm all for that. Like I can listen to that all day long, because I just truly believe that anything is possible. Just by the fact that if you can think it, then it can happen. You just have to stop with the resistant thoughts about it or the beliefs around it. So it's really good to just, do an umbrella blanket statement or affirmation of, I believe in the unseen, or I believe in the things that other people don't believe, or I believe in crazy things happening, or however you want to word it, of start working on that belief system of, being able to manifest anything out of thin air. And I just I just say, since I am God, this is happening. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I'm just so excited when I hear these things about that there's just no buffer of time. There is no time. That's what's so crazy. There is no time. So how could there be a buffer of time? That's confused me for a while. It's just like, I think I started this thing about, or maybe I talked to myself right before I started this podcast, but about the whole subconscious mind. Now, Abraham Hicks is literally the only speaker teacher who talks about the subconscious mind as if we don't have to reprogram it. Everybody else talks about it. It is insanely mainstream to talk about. Like that you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. And Abraham Hicks says you don't. It's just, they said it's one of the biggest misconceptions of all time, of all the things that we talk about. And it's that. And since I was so 100% into Abraham, I started believing it. And I'm like, okay, but when I was going to write my master's thesis in metaphysics about this. There's not a single source of anybody discrediting or not believing in your subconscious mind. So I'm like, I couldn't even write a paper on it because it would just be impossible. It would just be shot down. But because I wanted to say, well, is there any other research out there? I haven't found anything. So, but when you think about God, like as God, do you think God has to reprogram this, their subconscious mind? No. This is all source, right? This is source energy. When you speak the things that you want in your reality, it is done. It's done. There's nothing to reprogram. I do not believe that at all. Now there's beliefs, your conscious beliefs are what create, not your subconscious. I don't talk about it anymore because everybody's been brainwashed. And here I am, as a therapist, it's like, it's a psychology thing. As far as I'm concerned, all of this psychology stuff can go away because it's man-made. It's not incorporating source or God or anything like that to, this whole metaphysical aspect of life, all the unseen, right? So it doesn't take in account for any of that. So going back to the Abraham clip, they were talking about how Esther still believes that there's non-physical energies or angels or whatever doing all the heavy lifting for her. Instead of believing in instant manifestation, that she still is into the whole, that stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So let's get rid of the concept of time and that you have to wait, and really work on your belief system that you don't have to wait for your manifestations. You don't have to wait for them. And the more that you can believe or know that you don't have to, the quicker they will come in. Meditate, relax, enjoy life. That helps tremendously. Get rid of worried thoughts. You have to get rid of your worried thoughts because you're creating, as you're worrying, you're creating things you don't want. Like, relax, calm down, meditate, do things, listen to things at night. I really think they help a lot. And just step into your power, because you are so much more powerful than you ever think that you were. You just are. So one of the affirmations I say a lot throughout the day is, I am God. I am so powerful. I am so powerful. Can you imagine if you say that all day long? I am so powerful. You just have that power. And then you'll know your power. You'll start seeing, you're like, holy crap, I'm powerful. So, okay, I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.